Who can deny the pure awesomeness of the Super Mario Galaxy series? And part of what makes it so amazing is the bosses. Today, I'm going to...
Hold it!
What?
I want in.
I'm sorry. This conversation is bolted with a Megatron Super Duper Heavy Duty Lock 3000.
Too bad, I have a Triforce.
Yes, but that's only one part of the key. You also need to know my 15-digit combination.
453-021-678-972-386.
Darn, that's correct. I guess I have to let you in.
Yay!
By the way, who are you?
I'm in the same school as you.
Are you the one who sits next to me in first period?
Are you blind?
I do wear glasses.
I'm Triforce of Doom. You know, Matt.
Nope, still not ringing a bell.
We should probably get to the list now.
Yeah. Top 30 Galaxy bosses.
As my friend was saying, the Galaxy series is amazing and so are the bosses. Well, most of them.
And that's why we're making this list. To separate the good from the bad, the pros from the underdogs, the superior and the weaklings, the...
Get on with it!
Fine, ruin my streak. Anyway, not all of them are perfect, so we'll be ranking all 30 bosses. These bosses will be judged in their design, the arena design, how you beat them, their music, and how easy or hard they are.
Then the bosses are sorted by their total score based on the white method. This method takes into account the fact that just because a boss gets one or two really low scores and ends up having a score lower than another doesn't mean it's worse.
So just because one of us doesn't like a boss but the other really does, means it could end up being higher than some bosses with a big higher score than it.
With that, let's start with the worst of them all.
Who would have thought the Galaxy series has made a bland boss? Well, they succeeded with Sorbetti.
Yeah, this boss was not that good. I mean, it's a spiky snowball with a giant red hit-me nose. Pretty generic.
But just because it has a really obvious weak spot doesn't mean it's really easy to hit, as Sorbetti rolls around the arena in a somewhat random way and rarely ever has his nose in an easy-to-hit position, except for the first hit.
But all you have to do is run so it rolls and spin when the nose is aligned. Even hitting it is boring.
But if there's one creative thing about this boss, it's the fact that you launch off of him to reach the planet, and when the battle starts, the boss and planet look like a snowman.
I'll give you that, but the battle's still boring. Can we move on to the next boss?
Not before listening to the completely unfitting music. Could have made it more snow-themed.
Please, can we just move on?
Sure. Someone's kid at Nintendo must have been having a tantrum that morning because of a rash, and they took that inspiration and made this boss. But to be honest, who wants to listen to someone throw a tantrum?
That is true. Also, for our first boss, the prequel did a much better job than Peewee Piranha. I mean really, hits eggshell to hit its practically glowing weak point, very creative. I much prefer the tail under the effects of the Gomu Gomu no Mi.
The music is the same as Sorbetti, but pitch the situation more because it sounds as if a child is throwing a tantrum.
Yep. By the way, what do you think of bugs?
Why?
No reason. Hey Jason, wanna know one of my pet peeves with bosses?
What?
The King Mook.
What's that?
A boss that is a giant, maybe recolored version of an enemy. For example, number 28 on this list, Bugaboom.
Yay for faked creativity!
Bugaboom is simply a recolored and slightly reshaped version of the Mandabug. The only interesting part is that it flies, and it has an amazing arena.
The arena is really the only redeeming factor of this boss. You are literally fighting Bugaboom in his personal habitat. Pretty cool.
The music is good too, while somewhat repetitive, but other than that, the boss is really easy and generic. He's easy to hit, and like Sorbetti, his weak point is obvious. I mean, his back has a ground pound symbol for Pete's sake.
Leave Pete out of this, you monster!
It's an expression. Let's just move on. Who's next? You know, they say the chance of being hit by lightning is 1 in 700,000.
Are you sure? Because Giga Lakitu can pose quite a threat with his lightning.
That is true. It can take 2 or 3 of his attacks to get used to the pattern. Therefore, if you aren't prepared, you could get caught off guard.
But at least they train you for this boss. Practically the entire level consists of you throwing spinies at various things. Not that it's easy to aim, though.
True, I find the aiming to be easy, but everyone has different strengths. Also, the music can be quite catchy, but it can get old really quick as the song only is about 30 seconds long, and the fight lasts a lot longer. Anything else to say?
Not really. Simple words for a simple boss. Time for a history lesson, kids! Did you know how Alexander Hamilton died? He was shot by a guy named Baron Brrr. A crossover between history and video games. Who knew?
Not me. Still, I find this boss can be pretty fun. Using the ice flower to get to the tower while dodging Baron's ice blast is pretty simple, but after that, it's a cakewalk. The music is almost the same as Giga Lakitu, but simpler.
The platform you fight him on is so small that anywhere you spin, you have to hit him and he shrinks. But you have to be quick, as he'll roll around in the snow to regain his health.
But really, the main challenge is dodging his minions. The shockwave attack might catch you off guard the first time, but is predictable and easy to dodge. Now to end the segment with a joke and reference. Hey Jason, what killed the dinosaurs?
What?
The Ice Age! And what killed the Ice Age?
Baron Brrr with his weak fighting!
That makes no sense.
Okay, let's just move on. Bunnies. Such adorable creatures. If you see one in distress, you should always save it. Especially if it's being chased by Major Burrows. Talk about terrible military tactics. Why is a major chasing a poor defenseless bunny?
Yeah, he's not the brightest mole. Still, at least you get a free hit this way.
Now for a bit about the battle. The battle consists of Major Burrows burrowing, I see what they did there, through the ground, chasing after you and ground pounding the ground next to him to flip him out of the ground and smack him. Not too hard, right?
The final hit will throw you off because once he turns red, you have to ground pound twice to stun him, and the second ground pound is hard as he comes steamrolling towards you at the speed of sound.
The music could be a lot better for boss music. I can see the track being level music, not boss. The techno beat is nice though.
This is one boss you wouldn't want to find in your yard. Okay, who's next? No! Not this boss! Anything but this boss!
Oh, come on. It's not like you're gonna die talking about this boss. Oh, wait. Yes, it is, because this boss is super hard, and most definitely the hardest boss in the entire series. At least it's optional.
I know, but you take one of my least favorite bosses for being too easy, and make him hard as heck by destroying the go-to strategy of hugging his side.
The entire fight is plagued with fire, so even walking around is a danger, as each time Fiery Cobblegut touches the ground, he creates a pool of lava. They go away after a while, but because he is constantly chasing you, there is always an abundance of lava.
Then once the second phase starts, every time he bursts from the ground, he throws a whole bunch of fireballs into the sky that fall down and create a whole bunch of lava pools themselves.
This is one of those times where just because one person hates the boss, it's mad, doesn't mean it's bad, as I really like it, even though it was really hard.
Yeah, it's one of my least favorites, but as Yoshi would say,
Fireballs, yum!
Yeah, if you like having your innards burned.
he's a Yoshi. He can turn enemies into eggs. I don't question his digestion. Look out! The mole has a turret and didn't take his meds!
Not that he needs it, as all the times you fight him are pretty easy anyway. Yes, even the fight in Toy Time Galaxy, because I discovered an easy way to beat him. The first hit, which still takes a little effort, puts you right below him, and you can get on top of his turret before he can even say, FIRE!
I feel like an idiot for not knowing that. Still, the first hit on that one is annoying due to the homing electric shots.
It looks like a homing shot! It looks like a homing shot! That looks like a homing shot! That looks like a homing shot! Something!
But enough about that fight. What about the first one? That one has harmless bubbles.
Yeah, the bubbles launch you away from the center. Note that the center is where all the spikes are. That's just a harmless fence on the outside.
However, if a platform isn't beneath you, you get hurt. But those platforms are really useless, as if you have the B Mario suit, you can just fly up to him.
A tactic anyone with common sense would use. It's also easy to dodge the easily timeable bubbles.
Oh, and the third fight, a complete joke. There's almost nothing that can harm you except the crams, which are there all the time, and the zapper underneath him, but you really shouldn't have to get too close to those. This fight is really just a mini-boss.
All you have to do is backflip on him and... So yeah, that one is pathetic. At least they all balance out.
Look out! It's a lizard! It's a buzzard! It's a chicken! It's a... what is this thing?
I'm not sure, but it's annoying to fight. But this fight takes Yoshi's line, "Fireballs, yum," quite literally, as you feed Squizzard fireballs to defeat him.
Well, we really should say fireballs, yeah. It takes quite a few hits to Squizzard to harm him, and you can only hit him when his mouth is open. Unfortunately, the only time his mouth is open is usually when he's throwing giant spiked balls at you, and you are likely too busy dodging them to hit him.
I hated that part. It's fine with King Hippo and Punch-Out, but not in a 3D platformer, especially with how his arena's a sand pit. His music is nice and catchy, and it has a nice Fire Mario remix considering you'll be in that form constantly, so that's one good point.
But why not shatter that small moment by mentioning he also has a Daredevil run? And you can imagine how that must be.
I hated that run. His design is really weird as well, even by Mario standards. And the Mario series has had weird bosses like Chocola, Fawful, and a crab with a Christmas tree as a shell. At least it's not as weird as Persona bosses. Bowser, your battles can be fun, and you think up a new gimmick a lot. For example, being bigger than God freaking Zilla. Bowser must have been eating too many Mega Mushrooms.
Unfortunately, being big doesn't necessarily mean being strong. Bowser's boss fights in Super Mario Galaxy 2 are very easy, but get somewhat harder as you go on.
The second fight adds in shockwaves, and the third fight adds fire residue from his breath and more shockwaves. These provide extra obstacles to avoid, but don't pose much of a threat, however. The extra shockwaves can add a good challenge.
The music is fun, and I like it quite a bit, but it doesn't match up to the previous game's Bowser theme. Oh, and valiant effort for trying to reach for the Grand Star as you shrink, but if previous games are any indication, you never win.